Hey, what's up? John Sonmez from simpleprogrammer.com. So I am looking at getting some air conditioning in my new house here in San Diego because sometimes it does get a little hot on the third floor. My office is on the third floor, the master bedroom is on the third floor, and at night it gets a little bit hot. So anyway, I was researching some air conditioning companies and I called like 4 or 5 of them, had them schedule appointments to come out and see my house. And I had a few different experiences, and I thought I would tell you about some of these experiences, or contrast 2 of them, to give you sort of this idea, sort of this life lesson about, how to properly, give customer service and some of the benefits and sort of the contrast between the 2. Because I thought this was pretty interesting. So, had one guy come out, right? And he was just average, he came out and he did his thing, and he said he would give me some quotes, and he didn't really give me a huge amount of advice, but it was fine. He never did call back and give me quotes, so shame on him for that, but hey, what are you gonna do? So then I had another guy come out, and this guy, he came out, and he, when I first answered the door, he seemed like, really was acting very cocky, as if I was inconveniencing him by having him come out and check out my house to possibly install an air conditioning unit, which I thought was interesting. And he was very nonchalant, like not really answering my questions. Wanted to go and see the furnace that was in the second floor, and he basically looked at it and he was like, it's not plumbed for air conditioning. Yeah, I don't know. Who installed the air conditioning for the other owners in this building? Maybe you should call them. I think you should probably call them. There's a lot of work here and stuff, and yeah, we have a lot of business. So yeah, I think I'll pass on this one. And wow, yeah, I was pretty surprised by that. I mean, it's okay to pass on business, right? But to make it the customer's fault and to treat the customer in such a nonchalant way and not really offer any help. Now, contrast this with the third guy that showed up, that actually showed up today. And this guy, he came in and, I think he spent an hour at my house, maybe more. I expected him to be there like 5 or 10 minutes, and he went through and he thought about the problem, and he showed me all of the different things that I might consider as far as air conditioning, and he said, well, if we put in an AC unit here, then it's going to be in order to get it cold upstairs, since you're on the third floor, it's going to be super cold at the bottom floor. And he's like, well, we could do these wall units, or we could do, and he gave me this whole education on air conditioning and and how it related to the direction that my house was facing and sun and all of these things. And he looked at every single detail and he explained it to me, and he emphasized the point that what he wanted to do was provide the best solution for me, and and he didn't want to push necessarily an air conditioner. And I know it sounds kind of lame when I say it that way, but honestly, the guy was giving me a serious education and benefited me quite a bit. And then finally he was like, what I would do if I were you is I would just buy a portable unit that has a hose that goes out the window that you could just use, and if that works, then maybe you might consider something else, or maybe that would just work for you and you don't need to, as much as I'd like to sell you an air conditioning or install air conditioning for you or sell you a unit, maybe you don't need that. Maybe you can just buy a $500 unit at Home Depot, and that'll be fine for you, because I'm looking for what is in your best interest to try to solve this problem for you, even if it doesn't mean that I'm going to get business. And this was just a breath of fresh air, right? Because this is the way to do customer service. This is the way to really grow a business. And in the short term, that maybe that other guy would have said, oh, this guy's a sucker. He could have sold this $10,000 unit to this guy, the guy that blew me off, or whatever, and you might think that, but here's the thing, is this guy planted a seed. He planted a serious seed, and if I end up buying an air conditioning unit, I know who I'm going with. I mean, I even thought in my head, I'm like, wow, if this guy had a bid and it came in $1,000 more, than this other guy, or someone else who had not been quite as friendly or didn't seem as knowledgeable, didn't educate me. I would rather just pay the $1,000. I'd pay a decent chunk more money, because I would trust this person, because they educated me, because I've seen that they know what they're doing and that they have value, and I'm willing to spend more money even for the same thing, because I know it's going to be installed better, I know it's going to be serviced better, I know that I'm going to be able to count on this company because this guy had spent this much time, and he wasn't bluffing. When he left, the basic suggestion was that I do get a portable unit for $500, where he doesn't make any money off of that because he's not selling it to me, right? To buy it on Amazon or something. So, and he spent so much time, right? But he planted the seed. And the other thing is, like, if someone asks me, like, and I'm sure people will ask me, what air conditioning service should I use? I'm definitely going to recommend this guy. In fact, not only am I going to recommend this guy, I'm going to do it right now. I'm going to go and look on my spreadsheet and see who this is. I want to make sure I have an idea of the name of it, but I want to make it's so I think it's Air Plus. Let me see here. Air Plus. In fact, they sent me emails. Like, they did a really good job of educating. Air Plus, I believe that's what it is. So yeah, so I'll give them, an advertisement here, right, on my YouTube channel. For those of you in San Diego, this was the company. Their name was Air Plus Heating and Cooling, and they their phone number is 858-505-8711. It's Air Plus Heating and Cooling, and that was it was just an awesome experience. If you do call them, definitely tell them that you heard about them from my YouTube channel and the story. I'm sure they would appreciate that. But I don't want to get too sidetracked here. But the point is, like, this is how you treat customers. And and hopefully I'm doing this simple programmer, right? I mean, all of these free videos and stuff, right? I like making them. They're awesome. They're also part of the business, and they're part of the business in a key way, doing the podcast, doing the blog post, because hopefully I'm educating you. And if I'm educating you, you're finding what's valuable, right? And if I'm like, look, if you don't buy anything from me, that's totally cool. Like, you can just totally, go about and just consume all this free content. You don't have to do anything, if you want to, right? I've got some stuff, and now you maybe trust me a little bit more because you're like, well, John gave me some really good advice on all of these topics, and he did it for free. He didn't say, oh, well, if you buy from me, then I'll give you advice. Right? He gave all this out to genuinely help me. So I trust that probably something that he's selling or something else he's put together, or maybe his book, would make sense and would be good. And so that's the kind of strategy that I'm trying to plant here, or trying to do here. And it's not just a strategy, right? It's actually caring about your customer. And that's what I said, that this Air Plus guy, this is what he definitely did, right? It came across very clearly that that's what he was trying to do. And I think in the long run, that's a huge benefit. So, this applies to you no matter where you are in your life or what you're doing, right? Obviously, if you're an entrepreneur or a business owner, especially in a service-based business, this is really important. But if you're doing my blogging course, you can check that out here, and you're creating a company or a blog, or you're creating YouTube videos or whatever, remember what this is about. Remember the contrast, the difference, that it's not about just collecting someone's money and saying, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. It's about providing a service. It's about educating. Educating is one of the best ways to market and advertise, because when you educate someone, they trust you and they make an informed decision. They don't make a decision that they regret. So, it doesn't matter, even if you're an employee, right? Same thing, right? You have customers still, and how you treat those customers. And one of your main customers, right? I always say this idea of you are a business, right? Treat yourself as a business. One of your main customers is your boss, right? Your employer. And so if you treat them like a customer, and you treat them in the way that, this Air Plus did when they came into my house to help me with my air conditioning problem, you're going to get value from that, right? In every single one of your customers. So anyway, I don't want to belabor this too much, but I definitely recommend Air Plus Heating and Cooling in San Diego. And even though I haven't used them yet, but just from what they've done, and I'll probably end up trying out a portable unit and see how that works. But if I do end up going with the air conditioning unit, it's pretty much going to be them. Like they've pretty much, you know, earned my business by what they've done. So yeah, that's it's powerful, right? It really works. I mean, I know to some degree that could be described as a tactic. I don't really think it's a tactic though. I think this is just a good way to do business, right? This is just how you should be doing business. And you know, so anyway, even knowing that, it's still going to work because I appreciate it, right? And who doesn't appreciate that and being approached in that way? So anyway, hopefully you liked this video and hopefully you can get some value out of this. And maybe, you know, like I said, if you need someone for air conditioning, Air Plus, you know, they're not paying me or anything to this video, but I just thought I would share that because I thought it was just a good experience, and you know, this is how customer service should be done. So anyway, if you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and if you'd like to get part of the access to the community, you know, check out the Patreon page. You know, if you're getting value from these videos, consider supporting the channel and joining the community and getting some of the rewards there. I'd like to have you become part of the Simple Programmer community and talk with you on our private Facebook page, and especially if you can contribute, that's awesome. So anyway, I will talk to you next time, and take care.